Jai Gurudev. Jai Master. People think they have so many choices, and it becomes a real anxiety situation. Almost everybody has that issue, young, old. There seems to be so many choices. Sometimes people ask me, what about decisions? And I used to answer, but I realized of all the answers I give, the one people have the most trouble with is when I tell them there are no decisions. They have a lot of trouble with that. There are no decisions. It's so strong and obvious that it's almost hard to talk about. Do you know how many things are going on right now in the universe? You better say no. Okay? I mean, how many things are going on? How many things are going on outside? How many things are going on in town, in every single household? How many things are going on inside your body? How many things are going on everywhere? How about 100 billion, zillion, trillion? What are you deciding about those? Nothing. You mean they're going on without you deciding things? How long have all those things that have nothing to do with you been going on? Were they going on yesterday? A month ago? 10 years ago? Were they happening on Jupiter, Saturn, Mars? So you're telling me that for billions of years, things go on everywhere, and you have to make a single decision, and they still go on. So you've gotten most of what I got to say. So if 700 billion zillion things can go on for billions of years, and they have nothing to do with you, and you have to make a single decision, how is it that what's in front of you is not part of all that? You're not making any decisions about the part that you have nothing to do with, are you? So how is it that the little, tiny little part, the 0.001% of what's going on, that happens to be in front of your consciousness is intense and it's serious? And if I don't make some serious decisions, something drastically wrong is going to go on. Yet the entire rest of the universe, forever, you don't have to make a single decision. Seems to be going pretty well, doesn't it? Planets stay in orbit. Your cells divide. You got 10 trillion cells in there making a lot of decisions. Liver, kidney, spleen, pancreas, hypothalamus, they're doing stuff in there. Making a lot of decisions? No. Your neurons, how many neurons you got in your brain firing? You're not making any decisions. So I'm going to ask you, I don't understand how it is that every single thing can go on by itself except for the part that's in front of you. Are you willing to look at it that way? Are you willing to be scientific? Are you willing to be logical? Are you willing to be honest just for 1 hour sitting in a temple? Will you accept truth? The universe has gone on for 13.8 billion years without you. It went through all the evolutionary stages. It created DNA. My God, DNA is serious stuff, isn't it? Chemical bonds that carry all the knowledge and wisdom of how to make every cell in your body. Where did that come from? Did you make a lot of decisions? No. You haven't made any decisions about anything of any meaning at all. So what you're going to see is that this whole thing is self-made. You made it. The world is going on by itself. It has been unfolding for 13.8 billion years. It is happening all over creation. Every moment is unfolding in accordance to the laws, the influences, the processes that are causing it to be the way it is, and they have nothing to do with you. They're happening everywhere, but somehow the part that's in front of you can't handle itself without you being neurotic about it. Something seems fishy, because this is how I deal with that. If you say, yeah, that's right, Mick, then I say, look to the right. A moment ago, what was to your right had nothing to do with you. You don't have to do a thing. Now all of a sudden, do you hear me? Look up, look down, look around. It's not true that the part that's in front of you is any different than the part that's not in front of you. Why would it be different? It just happens to be where you're looking at the moment. If you weren't there and you were somewhere else, it'd go on doing its thing. So what you're going to see is that the anxiety, the tension, the disturbance, all of that mess that gets created inside are self-generated. They have absolutely nothing to do with the world that's unfolding in front of you. What you're doing is follows. You live in here. Check. In there? I forgot to ask you. You're in there. You live in there. There's a world unfolding in front of you. I'm just saying to you, so what? Good. Enjoy it. Look at it. If you don't like it, look to the right. You don't like that, look to the left. It's ridiculous. There's so many places to look. But no, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is something very, very intense. I live in here, as do you, and it's not okay in there, which we'll discuss in a moment. But be honest, it's not okay in there. Feel some insecurity, feel some jealousy, feel needy, you need someone, you're afraid of something. It's not so good in there, is it? It's not like your favorite place to be. That's why you do drugs and alcohol and want to go on vacations. Anything you can do to distract you or drug yourself so that I don't have to deal with this, because it's not so nice in there, is it? Well, I'm not saying you're a royal mess. A lot of people are way more of a mess than you are or I am, right? But it's a mess in there. You understand that? So you're in there. It's not comfortable in there. Just do this once in your life. Be honest. It's not comfortable in there. We worry. We need things. We want things. We're afraid we won't get them. We're afraid we'll get what we don't want, right? There's a lot of stuff going on in there. Unless you just happen to be in a state of absolute unconditional peace. Raise your hand. Didn't think so. All right. So if I live in here and it's not so nice in here, I want to do something about that. I don't want to live in not nice, and nor do you. Okay? You're always trying to make it a little bit better in there. Even when you get yourself stone drunk, it's better than what was going on there before. You wouldn't do it. Why do people do hard drugs? Because it's better when they're on those drugs than what was going on there before they did the drugs. I guarantee you they wouldn't do the drugs. You would not drug yourself except that it's better than what's going on when you don't. Drugs, alcohol, all of it's the same. All right? They're just degrees. Please, they're not exactly the same. I'd rather have you not do them. The extremes anyways, right? But the basics become, I'm not okay in here. It is not okay in here. I need to do something about it. All right? Now, shy of all those rather negative things to do about it, which are very non-constructive, if you get yourself good and drunk, unfortunately, you're going to have to sober up. All kinds of stuff goes on. You got to deal with yourself, all right? Then let's talk about some more constructive things you do, because it's not okay in there. You do things like saying, how could it be out there that would make me feel better in here? Ever done that? How could he treat me that would make me feel more respected? How could she be around my friends that would make them jealous of me and feel that I'm really special? What car could I own that when I pull up in it, people look at me with awe or respect? Or what title could I have? What business card could I hand up? How much money could I have in the bank and not have to worry about things? Because please listen, once in your life, then go out and do whatever you want. It is the same as the drugs and the alcohol. It's just the positive scale of saying, I'm not okay in here. What needs to happen for me to be okay? But now you're moving on the positive side. I need for the world to be different. Not the world. I'm sorry, that's too big. I need for the moment that unfolds in front of me. I need so that when I go to pick her up, she likes what I'm wearing. That's a pretty small moment, right? But boy, I need that moment, don't I? All of a sudden, that moment became really important. It became totally different than when you go pick up your somebody. Who cares how they think about you? I don't care less. But when I go to pick her up, this is what has to happen. That's why the moment in front of you is so important to you. It's no different than any other moment. She is going to behave when you go to pick her up in accordance to what she ate for dinner last night, the phone call she just got, how her parents treated her during her formative years. It has nothing to do with you. Nothing. Come on, let's be honest. Right? You don't honestly believe that what you're wearing is going to determine how he or she feels about you. And if you do, understand that the way they feel about you is based upon their past experiences. You walked up and you wore a bow tie because you thought it was kind of suave and neat. Meanwhile, her uncle wore a bow tie and he was so terrible. She hated him. Well, you just lost, didn't you? And it has nothing to do with your bow tie. It has to do with the forces that cause things to be the way they are, of which you know nothing, and they have nothing to do with you. You go to pick somebody up on a first date, and they got a phone call from their sister telling them that they've met the most wonderful person, they're going to get married, and they're announcing a wedding date, and she loves her sister, and everything's wonderful, and you go pick her up, you understand you're like 10 points above the top just when you go ring the doorbell under that circumstance, as opposed to the person you're picking up just got a phone call from her sister saying, I'm getting divorced, I'm never going to do it again, oh my God, I hate him, right? And that was the call. Okay, well, somebody's at the door. You don't want to be at the door, okay? So it has nothing to do with you. The moment that is unfolding in front of you has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the forces that cause it to be the way it is, which are enormous, aren't they? They're enormous. They stretch all the way back through time and space. The causes that make somebody think the way they do, or like what they like, or don't like what they like, and so on and so forth. But because you're in here, and you need to be okay because you're not okay, all of a sudden the only way you think to make it be okay is if the moment be the way you think it needs to be so that you feel better. I'll repeat that. Though I shouldn't have to, should I? That the moment never be the way that makes you feel worse, and that the moment always be the way that you think it needs to be to make you feel better. Now all of a sudden that moment in front of you, that's some serious stuff now, isn't it? Your whole life depends on that moment in front of you. That's everything. Oh my God, it's your entire state of being. It shouldn't be. You understand that? That's ridiculous. You just put the whole of your life onto a moment that has nothing to do with you. That's connected to the entire rest of the universe. You understand that? The genetics of that person determined that they had an allergy and they just ate something that was labeled wrong, or somehow the price tag was over the ingredient that had the allergy to. So now it's who made the genetics, who put the label on the can. All of that is going to determine the state of mind of that person that you're about to talk to. Every single second, that's what's going on. None of it has anything to do with you. It all has to do with these infinite forces that cause the moment to come the way it did, and for you to be there at that moment. If your car didn't start, like boom, boom, it start. How about boom, boom, boom? That little extra thing meant you caught a light. So you ended up 3 minutes before or after she ate the thing that made her allergic. It's anyone willing to smile? It's all connected. It has nothing to do with you. I want to cry. The only thing that has something to do with you is that you're in here and you're not okay. And what you did about it was create a conceptual world in your mind about how things need to be for you to be okay, and about how things better not be or all be worse. So you've decided how everything needs to be for you to be okay. Now you walk into this moment, and it makes me scared because that moment's not going to be that way. Why would it be that way? You just made up something in your head, didn't you? And you made it up based on your past experiences. You didn't make it up based on the experiences that are creating the moment. The forces and causes that are causing the moment in front of you have absolutely nothing to do with the things that happened to you that made you make up what you made up. They have nothing to do with each other. Nothing. You're making up stuff inside your head. I want him to be this way. I want him to be that way. I hope she likes that. Don't you? Just make up a bunch of stuff about how you think things need to be for you to be okay, based on your past experiences. What else would it be on? I'm going to take her to a movie. Why? Oh, God, I remember I took so-and-so out and we went to a movie. It was so beautiful. I think, I hope she likes movies. Well, she hates movies. Well, that's the end of that date. So, again, it has nothing to do with you, does it? What has to do with you is what you're making up in there because of your past experiences. But the moment that's unfolding in front of you belongs to science. It belongs to cause and effect. It belongs to the totality of the creation of the universe. It's its next moment. So those two don't line up. Have you noticed? And you know it's not going to line up, don't you? That's why you become manipulative. Because you know there's no way that that person is going to be the way you want it to be. And that the moment's going to be the way you want it to be. And so you try to control it. You try to dress certain ways, say certain things, do certain things, to try and influence the moment, to control the moment, so it be the way you need it to be, so you'll be okay, and so it doesn't be the way you don't need it to be, so you won't not be okay. And that's why decisions are hard. Now we're right back to where I started. I mean, I already told you there are no decisions. The universe is unfolding everywhere, and it's unfolding in front of you too, right? So how do I reconcile these two? Because once you pit what you think you want to be against the moment that's not going to be that way, you have to decide what to do to try and make it be that way. Should I change my major? Oh my God, what a major decision. Right? No, it's not. But to you it is. Why? Because you don't mean, do I change my major? You mean what will make me happy for the rest of my life. Don't you? Should I buy this dress? I mean, come on, give me a break. How can that be a major decision? You don't mean, should I buy this dress? You mean, will I look good in this dress and impress people and have the influence and effect on them that I want to have, or will I look stupid or fat or this or that, or does everybody else have a dress like this and I'll look like an idiot walking? So the tiniest decision in the world is enormous because you're laying your entire life on the line of, I've made up how it needs to be for me to be okay. I know darn well it's not going to be that way. This stupid old world doesn't behave itself, right? It just behaves according to physics and that kind of stuff, right? You know what it is? It's the perfect result of all the influences that make it be the way it is. Is not the moment in front of you the perfect result of all the forces that made it be that way? I used the word perfect, didn't I? Doesn't mean good or moral or divine. It means give me all the forces, put them together, and you're getting that. It is the perfect result of all the forces that cause it to be that way. All right? And so you come into that moment with your preconceived notion of how you need it to be, want it to be. You don't know how to make it be that way. And so you have these decisions all the time. It seems like constant decisions. It's so intense. It's so hard, right? Should I eat pizza or Chinese? I don't know. It's all the same because you're not saying, what should I eat? You're saying, what will make me feel good? What will make me meet the right people? What will make me have an enjoyable experience? I only get to eat dinner once a day, and I wanted to have a good time because I didn't have a good day. So all of a sudden, the weight of the world is on what you're going to eat tonight, or whether you should spend the next hour here or there. Every single decision is intense, isn't it? What to wear, whether to say so. How about you're in a conversation and people are talking and a thought pops into your mind? Oh, well, you could say, should I say it? Should I say it? I don't know. It could be wrong. I could look stupid. I don't know. Oh, my God. Who wants to live in that mess? You want to live in that mess the rest of your life? All right? Those are decisions too, aren't they? It's just not where am I going to live? What am I going to do? Who do I go out with? Do I open my mouth? Should I shove my beard? How long? Oh, my God. I get neurotic about it, right? Does it look good? What part? This part over here. That's when people finally wake up, they do something with their hair or their beard, and nobody notices. It's like insulting. You want to see what's different? No. I'm bald. Oh, I see. Where do you want to go? And you spend 3 years trying to decide whether to cut your hair or put on a tattoo or something, right? You are driving yourself insane playing this game of I'm not okay. What does everybody else and everything else need to do so that when it unfolds in front of me, it will make me be okay? Fair enough? I was nice to you because I said you made the decision of what you want and what you don't want. Now you have this decision how to make it happen. You can't even decide what you want. Can you? Come on. You can't decide. I don't know. We've been together a long time. I would like to be freer, right? I know he won't let me, but should I get divorced, right? But I do love him, and I like when he does this. And, oh, are you having fun yet? And by the way, one day you want to, and the next day you don't want to, and the next day you do want to, and the next day you don't want to. And I was nice because I said day. It's really minute. Come on. Never done that? All right. So what you see is that you are driving yourself bananas with this constant pressure of decisions that seem to be, oh my God, these are life-changing, important things that are just a symptom of a sickness that has gone on in there that you should not be doing. You were born onto a planet that is spinning around the middle of outer space. Ever seen a picture of the Earth floating out there? It's like totally black. Everywhere's all around. It's empty, dark space. Okay? And you're on this beautiful planet spinning around, and there's these events unfolding in front of you. Isn't that fun? That's where I want you. If I could, I'd push a button and get you there. You understand that? No more. Isn't that neat? There are going to be moments unfolding in front of me all by themselves. And I'm going to get to interact with them. What exciting. I'll meet somebody, they'll leave, they'll stay. I don't know, who cares? Whatever it is. It's interesting if I meet them, it's interesting if I don't meet them. I mean, there's 7 billion people on the planet Earth. I can't meet them all right? I'll meet the ones that are in front of me. Hi, how are you guys? Look at you guys, hi. I could be neurotic about who's not here, or whether you're going to come back, or I could just say, hi. And it's just fun, right? And if somebody stays, hi, look, they're still there. And if somebody leaves, hi, there's another experience to be had. I hope it doesn't sound cold to you, because it's beautiful. In other words, you start appreciating and respecting the awesomeness of the moments that are unfolding in front of you. They are not there to make up for the fact that you're not okay inside. They are there because of physics. They are there because, a lot of you guys are very smart. What shocked me, because I'm not a physicist, but I like to read that stuff, okay? I want to at least have a basic understanding. And when I got down to trying to understand quantum physics, which of course I couldn't understand the math or anything, but the basic understanding is really not that complicated. And they have this thing called the standard model, of this. This is how we see the universe. You all know about that? It's not so complicated, but the most amazing part of the standard model of how modern physics, all of it, every country, it doesn't matter, China, Russia, here, we all agree, this is the standard model of what's going on in the universe, right? Is they say part of it is these quarks and leptons and bosons, the quarks and leptons, these little particles that are popping out of the quantum field, but then they say there are these forces. There are forces that hold it all together. And I was shocked to find out there's 4 of them. There's only 4 forces in the entire universe. Listen to me. 4, not hard to memorize, 4 is it? I'm going to teach them to you right now. There's 4 forces that put together and hold together the entire universe, right? Gravity, electromagnetism, strong nuclear, and weak nuclear. That's it. It's pretty far out, isn't it? That's what's making what's in front of you. If those are the only forces in creation, they made everything. All right? And by the way, the strong nuclear force is an exact power, exact strength. The weak nuclear, exact strength, never changes. Electromagnetic, exact span of that range. All right? Gravity, exact, depending on the mass. Wow. That's pretty stable stuff, isn't it? And it created everything that's unfolding in front of you. So why not enjoy it? Why not say, wow, look what's there. Look what's unfolding in front of me. Why do I have to judge it? Why do I have to say it has to be a certain way for me to be okay? Why can't I enjoy and appreciate that I'm alive for a few years? The universe unfolds in front of me, or at least a little piece of it does. I like when people say to me, but I'm afraid of missing something. You're missing everything. You're experiencing 0.0000001% of what's going on at any moment, and you're afraid of missing something. So you just basically instead say, I can only experience what's in the realm of what my senses are picking up. Thank you. Appreciate the moment you're actually experiencing instead of sitting there saying you know how it needs to be for you to be okay. That is the difference between a worldly life and a spiritual life. And that's the only difference. I'm going to repeat it. Do I need the moment in front of me to be exactly how I want it in order for me to appreciate it or be okay? Or do I just honor and respect that I get to experience these moments that are unfolding in front of me? They're like gifts. They're presents. They're free of charge. There's always going to be something in front of you. What's wrong with that? And what happens to you is you come to the point where you realize the whole problem is that I'm not okay. The whole problem is that I'm lonely. The whole problem is that I feel I need somebody. The whole problem is I feel insecure with the finances I have. The whole problem is that I said something in a conversation and somebody said it was wrong and I feel stupid and I don't want to see anybody ever again. That's a major problem, isn't it? Right? We've got a bad case of that, don't we? The problem is that I'm making a problem inside myself. The problem is not what's going on outside. The problem is I'm not okay in here. Well, then, if you're not okay in there, let's fix it. Let's not leave it not okay in there and then try to manipulate and control every moment of your life to try to make you feel better about the fact that you're not okay in there. If you have a thorn stuck inside your arm, right, you have 2 choices. Make sure nothing ever touches it because it hurts up against the nerve, right? Make sure you never hit anything, nobody gets too close, the wind doesn't blow on it. You can be very busy, aren't you, for your entire life. Or, ready, take it out. You take it out, you'd be a normal person. If there's something wrong inside of you, don't run around trying to make the world match what's wrong inside of you. If you're lonely and you don't feel loved, that's a thorn. That's a problem. Let's fix that so you're not lonely and you feel loved. Otherwise, if you're lonely and you don't feel loved, you're going to try and have to find a world around you that makes you feel not lonely and feel loved. And if it changes, you'll feel lonely and not loved again. Has anybody noticed that? It doesn't actually fix your problem. Ever had that happen? You felt lonely and somebody showed up and they doted all over you, right? And then all of a sudden they start doting on somebody else, right? And you felt jealous and you felt insecure and nobody really did love me and you're worse than you were to start with, okay? You didn't fix your problem. You put something on top of it. You compensated for it. To me, one of the most profound things anybody ever said to me, it's a long time ago, it was an older, elderly person, right? In their 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. And their husband died. And they said, I've been married 65 years. And when he died, I felt the loneliness and lacking that I felt when I was 18, when I first met him. It came back just like it was before. That's not romantic. That's sad. That means that 65 years of marriage didn't fix you. All it did was hide you from yourself. And the moment the crutch went away that you were using to hide from your loneliness and lack of wholeness, the minute it went away, you felt it again. Just amazing how tenuous it is and sensitive it is. Why not fix the problem inside? So now you come down to yoga. You come down to spirituality. You come down to like we got there through science, but where you end up inside is sitting there saying, I want to fix what's wrong inside of me. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how much effort it is. I don't care how difficult it is. I want to live my life whole inside. To where now I'm in here. Let's do that life. I'm in here. Hi, you in there? It's beautiful in here. How would you like that? You wake up in the morning and there's all this joy. Not a worry in your mind. No concern about what happened yesterday. Just this absolute enthusiasm and excitement. You're free. You're open. You're enthused. You're energetic. It's just the most exciting thing in the world. You're going to have a day, aren't you? There are going to be these events unfolding in front of you. If you don't have anything going inside, you're excited about it. It's wonderful. It's fun. Why not have a blast? Wouldn't you rather have a blast? Okay? Notice there are no decisions to make because it's all fun. It's all exciting. It's not an issue. We'll get to the fact that sometimes life has forks. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, if you approach life in a state that you're okay, instead of a state that I'm not okay, and I'm trying to make life fix me, I want you to be in a state that I am okay, and I'm enjoying the experience that's unfolding in front of me. It's fun. It's exciting. I can't wait for the next thing to happen. I don't care what it is. It's just so exciting. Wait till you see how that changes your life. And all you do is change yourself. You didn't change the outside. You changed the inside. So the first question becomes, are you capable of that? The answer is yes. Yes. Yeah, but I don't know. I get depressed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you've ever done. But I hurt somebody really bad when I was little. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter. You understand that. I know you don't. Right? It doesn't make any difference what you've ever done. It doesn't make any difference how bad it is right now. You are capable of making it beautiful in there. But it's your work, not somebody else's. So the first question becomes, if I'm going to work on myself, why isn't it beautiful in there? Why isn't it beautiful in there? Why isn't it always filled with love? Why isn't it always enthused and excited? And why you've been? Sometimes you're enthused and excited, aren't you? Sometimes you feel love. That means that you're capable of having that, aren't you? Then why is it not that way all the time? The reason is because you have had experiences in the past that came in, and when you experienced them, you didn't like them. They were not pleasant to you. They were scary, or they were hurtful, or something like that. And they came in, and they caused some disturbance inside of you. Yes, the world can do that. Have you noticed? The world isn't always so sunshiny. It's got dark nights. It's got all kinds of stuff. It's got rattlesnakes. You throw yin and yang. It's got rattlesnakes and butterflies. They feel very different when they come in, don't they? Very good. So it comes in, you experience it, and I've always taught you this. I teach it every time now, right? Because it's so important. You in there, you who live in there, you don't want to experience the bad things, and you want to keep experiencing the things that were nice. And so you start manipulating these inner energies that are passing through you, and you don't let them pass through you. You push them away. That's what psychology calls repression or suppression. You push them away so you don't have to experience them, don't you? Have you had things in your life you didn't want to experience, so you denied them, or you pushed them away? I'm not going to let it all the way in. I'm going to rationalize it. I'm going to do something to keep it at a distance from me. When you do that, it stays inside of you. When you resist it, it stays inside because you didn't let it pass. What happens to water if I don't let it flow past me? I dam it. It stays. It builds up, doesn't it? Because of tremendous power. Every single thing that ever happened to you in your entire life that you resisted is still in there. And you know it, don't you? Because it comes back up, doesn't it? Isn't that funny? It comes up in your dreams. Comes up, you see something that reminds you of and you feel yucky. All of a sudden you get in moods, don't you? That's what all of it is. That's what all psychology is. And that's what the entire blockage to your energy flow is the stuff that you stored in there because you wouldn't let it pass through. You have let lots of things pass through. The white lines on the road pass right through. The trees you're driving by pass right through. Don't they? They don't cause you any trouble at all. You don't wake up and think, oh, there's trees. But you do, oh, there might be a snake. Oh, the butterfly went away. I liked it. All right? You hold on to these experiences. Right? They don't stay in there naturally. They naturally pass through. Passing through doesn't mean you forget them. Passing through doesn't mean that they had no influence on you. They flow in and you become, I'm trying to find the words, you become the experiencer of that experience. If you're learning tennis and the only ball you ever hit was forehand at a 90-degree perpendicular angle, right? And I hit you a ball at a slightly different angle, are you better off or worse off in learning tennis? No matter what angle I hit it at, you're better off, aren't you? Because now you're an experiencer of a ball at that angle. What about if it hit different speeds? You're an experiencer of a ball at that angle at that speed. But what if when I hit it the first time it goes in the net? It doesn't matter. Now you're an experiencer and you can get a little bit better next time. It's called learning. I've been using that word lately because we don't understand what it is. It's called learning. Why is life not like that? Why, if you see a rattlesnake, is it not a learning experience? You never saw one before. Now you experience that. Why, if you experience a butterfly landing on your arm, is that not an experience that you had and you become a wholer person because you've experienced a rattlesnake, you've experienced a butterfly, you've experienced an almost car accident, you've experienced a car accident, you experience this, you experience that, you experience all kinds of things, don't you? You become a better tennis life player, okay? I'm telling you, it's exactly the same as a tennis player. It's exactly the same as everything else you learned. You didn't know it before because you experienced it, you became wholer, didn't you? I'm telling you, every single experience in your life is to your benefit. Every single one, until you decide it's not. If all of a sudden you decide I can't hit a tennis ball that way, you start yelling at your coach for hitting it that way, and the moment he hits it that way, you march off the court and you stop playing tennis, well, that wasn't a very rich experience. I can't argue you became a better person because of that, but that's because you resisted. Otherwise, it would have been an experience that stretched your limits. You became a better player. So if you resist the experience that life is giving you, it stays stuck inside of you. And it stays in there forever. It will come up when you're 80. It will come up when you're 90. It will come up in your dreams. All it has to be, somebody says a name, Joey. Oh, an 80-year-old person. Joey. I had a Joey when I was young. Joey, he ruined my life. Don't talk. I told you not to mention that name. But you were 12. I don't care. It was 80 years ago. I don't care. It's staying in there till you let it go. That is the nature of things. You have will in there, and you can push energies. It's not the event. The event was over 80 years ago. But the impression of the event, right? The impression of the event can get stuck inside of you. It is the impression of those events stuck inside of you that are blocking your energy flow. So you don't feel enthusiasm and joy and love because you are blocked. Just like if you stop a river, dam it up, it goes dry downstream. If you stick those rocks of these past negative and clinging experiences, resistances and clingings inside of you, then you can't experience the reality of what's happening in front of you. Because you know darn well right now when something happens in front of you, it hits your stuff and you start thinking about it. Very rarely do you have what's called a pure experience. If the sun is setting, it's just so beautiful, ready? You say, it blew my mind. Yes, it literally did. It took you out of those blockages. And for a moment, you fully experience the beauty of that sunset or the hug of your lover. It becomes a deep, rich, beautiful experience. Every single moment of life is meant to be like that. It can't be like that now. Why? Right? Because this moment comes in, she sat down, and I don't see her. The red looks like what my sister wore that time she stole my bike and I got in trouble and she lied to my father. All of a sudden I'm depressed and I'm having all kinds of problems, right? And her blonde hair reminded me. Do you understand that? You don't see anybody. You see yourself. Isn't it funny? Isn't it true that your mind starts up the minute you see something? Right? I mean, you have an experience. Somebody says something. I tell you, the ultimate way to see it, next time you're having a conversation with somebody, doesn't matter who it is, a friend, whatever it is, and they're talking, I want you to see what you're doing. Because I'm telling you right now, you're not listening. You're judging everything they say. In your mind, saying, well, that's not true. I used to think like that. In other words, your mind is activated by what they're saying. And if you slowed it down, you would see it's being activated due to your past experiences. Right? Oh, that happened to me once, but I didn't have that problem. She's had it. And it's in there talking to you while you're supposed to be listening to the other person. Instead, you're listening to yourself. And that's only if you're somewhat interested in what the person's saying. Otherwise, you are literally not even listening at all and thinking about what you're going to say when they finally stop talking. Ever done it? Okay. That's showing you what's happening. You have all this stuff stuck inside, and now the world, when it comes in, instead of making it back to you, hits your stuff. And that's where all the judgments and the noise and the insecurity, all that garbage comes from. So you can't feel the pure flow of the beauty of the energy of your being. Because what you feel is your reaction to things, because you have all that stuff in there. Okay? I mean, just have one person say something that reminds you of your mother and you didn't get along with your mother, and you don't like that person. Well, that person's not your mother. But the way she smirked reminded me of Mom. She's like, we have all this stuff, don't we? We've collected all this garbage inside. That is what's blocking your energy flow. That's why you can't appreciate and really get turned on by the moments that are unfolding in front of you. They have to be exactly what matches that I call tiptoe through the tulips. How does everybody need to be so they make it through me? If you talk exactly right, it won't hit Mommy. And if you talk a little bit stronger, it'll hit Daddy. I got along with Daddy. Okay, we're doing good. I like you so far. It has nothing to do with liking them. It's you. So we end up with this entire mishigas of preferences and concepts and views and opinions and likes and dislikes, all of which are 100% the result of the garbage we stored inside of ourselves. So you catch on that if you want to have a whole, full life, it is not about manipulating and controlling every moment. How you can control every moment. You can kill yourself to make one moment, the wedding day, be the way you want, right? But then there's a moment after the wedding day and the time before and then 3 years later. Oh, my God, are you going to be busy? It's amazing how weird we got ourselves, isn't it? Instead, you guys, because we had this talk, you wake up and you say, if I have but one life to live, I want to live my life. I want to enjoy my life, every second of my life. I want to appreciate the moments that unfold in front of me that creation's giving to me, not judge them and hate them and manipulate them and say something else. I would rather something else. Remember those bumper stickers I always tell you, right? I'd rather be sailing, right? I want you to say, I'd rather be doing what I'm doing. If you'd rather be sailing, you're not having a good time. But I like sailing, but you're not sailing. So you gave up enjoying the moment you're having because you'd rather be sailing. Therefore, you're not enjoying the moment you're having. That's called be here now. That's called the power of being in the present moment. The present moment is beautiful. If he stands here next to me, he loves the moment that's in front of me. I'm the one who has a problem with it. There's nothing special. There's nothing magical about sailing. There's nothing special about anything. There's just the question, does it fit your garbage that you got in there? All right? And I'm telling you, get rid of the garbage. All of a sudden, you have a totally different meaning for your life. If you want to have a whole, full, exciting, rich life, and I want you to, then you need to not make stuff fit your garbage. You need to get rid of your garbage. And that's back to the thorn example I gave you. You want to spend your entire life making sure that nothing ever touches the thorn in your arm? Maybe you want to take it out. You want to spend your whole life making sure everything matches the garbage you got stored inside of you? Good luck. And that's, again, I keep going back to decisions. You will try to figure out what decision, you'll try to figure out, based on the garbage I have in here, all the likes and dislikes and fears and anxieties and so on, how do things need to be so it feels better inside? Okay? So you'll make up what you want or what you don't want. Now how do I make it happen? And you're going to make decision after decision. It seems like everything is these earth-shattering decisions. There's nothing decision. The only decision you have to make is, do I want to do that? To me, do I really want to do that for the rest of my life? Because you've been doing it your whole life, haven't you? You know how I know it doesn't work? Because you're still doing it. When you're in high school, did you have a little model how people needed to be and treat you and everything? And if it wasn't, you got all weird. And if it was, you liked it, yes or no? Okay, well, now in college, did you do that? When you got married, did you do that? Everyone's still doing it. It never stops. It can stop. It can be beautiful in there. But you need to get rid of the garbage that you stored in there. So then the question becomes, how do you do that? Here's how you do it. You don't start by trying to get rid of the garbage you have stored inside. Thank you. You don't do that. All right? You start by not taking more in. You start by every moment of every day of your life realizing if you're not careful, you're going to do it again. The driver in front of you is going to be driving slow and you're going to get all upset. It's going to ruin your day. Instead of just honoring and respecting that people drive at different speeds, you can handle it. You can let it pass through. You start letting more and more things be as they are. They're not a big deal. There's nothing to do about it. Just learn to handle it. Just keep letting go. Let as much as possible pass through without resisting, fighting, arguing, doing whatever you do in there. Let it pass. Now, it's not easy. You have to get used to that because you've been very busy manipulating, controlling everything. Okay? So it's like a habit. So you just sit there and say, I'm going to make a game out of it. The little thing. What if it starts raining when you don't want it to? What is the purpose of getting all anxious and weird about that? You're not going to change the rain. There's nothing to think about. Enjoy the rain. But what if I get caught outside and it's raining? You will get just as wet if you enjoy getting wet as you will if you don't enjoy getting wet. The difference is in one case you'll enjoy it and the other case you won't. And so you start, I call it working with yourself. You start working on yourself. You start looking at all your complaining little person in there, and you sit there and you raise yourself. You sit there and you say, okay, it's raining. I'm going to enjoy the rain. And little by little, you raise yourself. You learn that you don't have to be a negative poo-poo head. It's amazing. Once you break out of that, you can't believe that you were the slave of that. It's like you go to a party, you've been looking forward to the party. I, of course, don't party, so I'm making this up. But you go to a party, you were looking forward to going to the party, and you go in there, and you look in there, all of a sudden your mind says, I don't feel comfortable here. Right? I don't like it. Plus, I heard Johnny was going to come. I don't want to see Johnny. I don't want to be here. I want to go. I want to leave. I want to leave. Right? But you want to stay. No, I want to leave. It's so cute. Guess what you do? You leave. Every single time. You do whatever it tells you to do. Don't you? You think it's you? Is that you talking in there? No. It's your garbage talking. You need to break that. You need to break your connection to that. You need to sit there and say, excuse me, ma'am, we look forward to this party. We're at this party. We're staying at this party. Okay? We're staying at this party like a child. You feel like a child. We're staying at this party for an hour and a half. You can either make yourself miserable for an hour and a half or you can enjoy it like I'm going to. All right? And then you go about your business. And if it's in there still complaining, just don't pay attention to it. Break the hold it has on you, because all that noise inside is just the sum of your learned experiences. You know, Johnny wasn't nice to you 3 days ago. At least he wasn't really not nice. You said, hey, Johnny, and Johnny kept walking by. All right, and you had a friend next to you that just told how much Johnny liked you, and this hurt. This is what do you do? Right? The truth is he didn't hear you. Okay, but that's not what your mind said. So you make up all this stuff that hurts you, and then you go to the party and you have to leave. I don't know. I could give you example after example, couldn't I? It's crazy. And so you start to, little by little, dare to use your will, not to control the world to match your stuff, but to let go of your stuff. That's the cleanest thing. That's the entire spiritual path. It's called spiritual purification. It's not about never swearing. It's not about wearing white. It's not about going to India. You understand that? It's about getting rid of the junk that you built up inside of you. And I don't care how you do it. Figure it out. There's lots of techniques. There's lots of things. The main thing is you say to yourself, I don't want this in here, and it's not going to run my life. And as you let it go, it will go. It will go. So don't take more stuff on during the day. Can you handle the fact that it's raining? Can you handle the fact that Johnny didn't say hello when you called out to him? Can you handle the fact that there's a scratch in your car that you parked in the parking lot? Can you handle the fact that something happened, what am I going to tell you, somebody didn't call when they were supposed to? Can you handle the events that are unfolding in front of you? Yes or no? Because if the answer is no, you're in big trouble, aren't you? Why? Because the events are unfolding in front of you. And you only have a choice. I handle them and respect that, or I can't handle them and I get weird. And you start working on yourself to be able to handle the moments that are unfolding in front of you. You're going to find there's this low-hanging fruit. You're going to find your life gets much easier very quickly. People write me all over the world. They write after reading the Into the Soul and Surrender Experiment, right? Oh my God, it changed my life, everything. That'll go on for a short period of time until something bigger tries to come up. And then you're going to realize, oh, it was bigger than that. All right? But by all means, take the low-hanging fruit. Do the things like me. If I have a new car, I've bought a new car for a long time. If I have a new car and it gets its first scratch, I look at it and I get all excited. First scratch, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Because you know it's going to get a scratch eventually, right? Okay? So if it's over, okay, good. I don't have to park far away. So you just get to the point where you let go of the small stuff. And then what's going to happen all by itself is something's going to happen and something inside of you from the past is going to come up and it's not going to be comfortable. Ever had it happen? You say something doesn't happen, blah, blah, blah. You have a dream, freaks you out, whatever it is, and all this stuff starts coming up. And someone comes to me and says, I'm having this problem, this stuff's coming up. I always ask the same thing. I won't do therapy with you, by the way, but I always ask the same thing. Is that brand new? You ever felt that before? Oh, yeah, I used to feel this in high school all the time, but I got over it. Yeah, you sure got over it. All right? You have to welcome it to come back. You couldn't handle it when it happened. You need to handle it now. It is not going to leave from inside of you till you welcome it to do so. You're the one who held it inside of you, didn't you? You pushed it away when it happened. You have to change your attitude. You have to welcome it inside. Welcome, you're welcome. I couldn't handle it in high school. I can handle it now. It's fine. Plus, because you did the low-hanging fruit, you became a better tennis player. You became more capable of handling things. See why I use handling? You became more capable of handling things because you handle the small things. So now a bigger thing comes up. Do the same thing. Let it go. I beg you. Let it go. And then you'll get to a point where you start getting high. It starts being really nice in there because you're not as blocked. And there are less things inside that hit your stuff because you have less stuff. And then all of a sudden something big will come up. Wait till you see your first really big one, that you didn't even want to face. You really suppressed this one. Then all of a sudden it's coming back up. Somebody says something or doesn't say something. It starts broiling in there. Can't it get like that? And you decide, do I want to push it back down and build my life on top of that? Because that's what you're doing. I have to avoid it for the rest of my life. Or I want to take a couple of breaths and let it go to the best of my ability. And once you let one big one go, your entire life changes. Entire life changes. You'll be more happy in the morning. You're happy with the food you eat. You're happy with everything that happens to you because you let go of this giant blockage. And when the next one comes up, you throw it a party. You welcome it, and eventually you become a cleaning machine. Every second of your life, all you're doing is letting go. You just take a position inside. I want this stuff out. I love it. It's the most beautiful experience I ever had, getting higher and higher and higher and higher. And eventually, at some point, what will happen, you'll start to feel this energy that the only time you felt it before was at the sunset or in a lover's arms. This rush of upward, beautiful energy starts flowing inside of you all the time. When you wake up, it's there before you wake up, feeding you, just rushing up inside of you, pouring out your centers, right? That's Shakti. In yoga, we call that Shakti, all right? Spirit. You just get this upward flow. And it's really nice. It's nice having that going on in there, right? And all of a sudden you decide, I like that, and I ain't never giving it up. I ain't never giving it up. And so no matter what happens in front of you, you decide, I will handle this. So now you have the non-negative inspiring you, plus you have this beautiful positive energy inspiring you, and now you start to grow. Now you're on an accelerated upward spiral. Just like people get depressed, you're getting, oh my God. And you get really high. And you can go to work, you can drive, just don't tell the cops, DUI, And you think I'm kidding. You sit there driving down the road, and all of a sudden ecstasy comes over your entire being. You have trouble, you just pull over, right? That's how I want you to live. It should just be a case of spontaneous ecstasy, where every single thing that you do makes you as high as the highest you used to get if everything was exactly the way you wanted, right? The reason it had to be, and I'm going to stop, the reason it had to be the way you wanted was because you were blocking it. Now that you're not blocking it, the same energy that was behind getting what you want, imagine if you got exactly what you wanted. Would you get excited? What if you were so open that everything was fine? how I want you to be. It's beautiful. Even bad experiences are beautiful. People die. Someone you love dies. Someone you parent, this, that. It's a sad experience. It doesn't mean, oh, boy, my daddy died. No, it's not like that. It's like, wow, this is so profound. I feel this depth that I wasn't feeling before. It's like, wow, and I feel closer to him than I did when he was alive. This is really beautiful. It has its own beauty. Do you understand that? The pain. When sometimes people come to me and they say, well, somebody died. I love it. I don't know what to do with it. Right? So, well, do you feel pain? Yeah. I feel like that pain is equivalent to saying, I love you. You don't feel that pain with somebody you don't like. You don't feel that pain with somebody you don't know. So what's wrong with that being a type of love? And you start appreciating and enjoying all the different experiences that your heart can have, all the different experiences that your mind can have, and all the different experiences that unfold in front of you. I want you to live like that. I want you to be so high. It's just so beautiful. And you can do it. It takes a long time to be completely free, but you can get really far really fast. Your biggest growth point, a couple of big growth points. One is when you decide the purpose of my life is to let go of this stuff, not to serve it. I'm not about getting married. It doesn't mean I won't get married, but that's my life. Is not about getting married. It's not about having children. It's not about getting rich. It's not about having a career. It's not about having everybody respect me. That's what my life's about. My life's about getting rid of all this junk inside of me so I can be whole and healthy inside. Then I can get married. Right? Then I can enjoy the different experiences. I don't need them. I'm enjoying them. I'm sharing the beauty I have inside with the beautiful unfolding of life that's around me. And that's your first major growth point. And the second one is when the energy changes direction. Boy, come see me, then I want to see your eyes because they'll be glowing. And the energy literally changes direction. It starts pouring out your different centers, and you're filled with joy and love all the time. It's a very beautiful state, and you're capable of that. Okay, so we talked about decision-making. Right? I said there is none, but I left you with one. Do you want to live your life to serve your blockages, or do you want to live your life to get rid of your blockages? What did Christ say? You can't serve two masters. You can't both serve your garbage, be the instrument of your garbage to try and manipulate and control everything to match you, right? And serve what's higher by letting go of your garbage. Isn't that beautiful? Very good. All right. Jagrata.